Good morning, everyone. Good morning, fam bam. Hopefully, you guys had a wonderful start of the, well, not really start of the week, but the end of the week. And we're winding down. We're finally almost into full time already. It's almost an insight to see what's to happen. What's up, Wasabi? What's going on? Great to see you. What's up, Bob? I liked our in pain, but I enjoyed the oh, awesome. What's up, Z-Man? What's going on? Great to see you. I gotta say, there's definitely a lot to talk about, especially what has been happening. I went to the, let's go ahead and go live here. So I went to the Anime NYC and I came home with random free merch and 3 games. Oh, that's pretty dope. What's up, Steve? I am officially on vacation now. I took a week off. Man, I gotta say, I know it was well worth it. All the hard work that you've been putting in. I'm glad you finally got that vacation in. Everyone needs a break every now and then. I'm hoping to get a vacation in sometime soon. Probably in November would be my next, like late October, November. Thinking of taking a vacation then. But then said they'll go for the PS1 Toki Meki Memorial 2 for PS1 and the 97 Frogger 3. Oh, that's pretty dope. That's all dope. I haven't played Frogger in a minute, man. Tried getting Frogger to work on PC, had some weird issues due to the game being you know what you have to do? Have you tried running it in compatibility mode? Okay. So you did manage to get it to work at least. Even in compatibility mode, a lot of certain games you have to kind of right click and go into the compatibility mode and be able to go in. What's up, Takuma? What's going on? Great to see you. All right, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to switch over to the browser here so we can kind of set it pretty much onto Micro Center here. I know there's definitely a lot of concern. Wasabi and Takuma in here together. What's up, Any Lennis? My cat just woke me. That's a good cat. He remembers the good timing. All right. So what we'll do is we'll go over here to the browsing mode and we will go here into wonderful Micro Center. Yes. Let me see. Let me expand it just a bit bigger. There we go. I think that's probably good enough, right, guys? There we go. So one of the weird game quirks is I'm told that it's not full screen, but it's full screen anyway. Oh, okay. So you know what it is? It's funny to think because probably the best resolution back then, I'm sure you guys remember, is the whole 600 by 800. That was like one of the better resolutions at that time. So it's probably, I wonder if that's where it was stuck at. Uh, did you ask it? I did not. I could definitely ask. I could ask, but I'll probably get shut down. That's an expensive GPU there. But I mean they do have various models. They have the 5070 Infinity GPU and all the way up from there. So you could get 5070, 5080, 5090. The highest resolution 640 by 480. Oh wow. Yeah, that's right. 480 was like one of the top tier ones too. That was like a real common resolution back in the day. And it's amazing. I'm surprised. I wonder if they're even going to end up touching Frogger anymore. I wonder if they did. I have no idea that they did some sort of modern touch to it. Oh, that's awesome. At least you got it to fit on 1920 by 1440. It probably looks pretty good too, I would imagine. Yes, Takuma is trying to get his hands on the Infinity GPU. He is going to be paying cold hard cash to try to get this Infinity GPU here. Where is the best payment plan that you can think can upgrade my PC? Think little too much if I get other PC. I'm stuck with this one. Um, oh, you mean like okay, so you're trying to get a payment plan and you're trying to upgrade your PC. Usually depends where you're located. You have to let me know the country and exactly where you're located at. So I put my games on a storage drive in Majoro, played Silent Hill Remake, and was using 22.1 gigabytes of system RAM. Who knew that the storage drive would do that? Yeah, that's pretty funny actually. That is kind of odd. So Wasabi's not shocked. Xenomorph, what's going on? It's my last RTX 5090 and MSI. Yeah, absolutely. It's just insane. Like anybody wants to pay about $10,000 for a 20 uh 20 series, I call it, or series. I should say series 20 because it would make more sense. But the RTX 5090 series 20, they want $10,000 for it. Frogger went downhill when they started Frogger's Adventures. They should have never touched it. Yeah, edition 20. I don't even think Micro Center touched it. That's that's just that's just an idea of just how expensive it is. I know Micro Center has the Infinity here. Oh yeah, that's right. The Infinity fans will pop up too. See, they got the RTX 5070 version where it's $929, and they also have. I saw the 5090 there in stock too. Oh, you get a free 27-inch OLED with the Oris 5090 Infinity. Oh, that's so it's priced at $5,299. So if anybody does want it, and you spend $5,299 on this Infinity, they will hook you up. Have you guys checked the prices of the 2007 magazine I've sent in Discord and same prices? No, I have not. Frogger is Konami IP. I think after deciding to drop all their AAA franchises like Metal Gear, that they do more Frogger. Yeah, that's true. That's what you would automatically assume. So of course, the big concern here is when it comes to the pricing, when it comes to GPUs. Luckily, this is actually pretty close. When you think about it, this Gigabyte Oris Infinity, right? It's actually priced pretty decently. And I'm not trying to say that to be funny or nothing, because when you really think about it, this is 5300 and this is the 40th anniversary edition for Gigabyte. So for them charging 5300 is actually not that bad when you really think about it, because when you compare it to something like, let's go ahead. I'm gonna go over here and look at the other 5090s, because when you compare it next to one of the other models, just to say 5090 right here, and say we price it as the highest, not the highest rating. I meant to put the highest price. If we go to the highest priced RTX 5090, let's take a look here. Oh wow, they got it in stock, guys. They actually got it in stock at Micro Center, but they did not list the price for the 20th anniversary bundle. Oh, so you could only wow, that's so crazy. So they won't let you buy it. They won't let you buy the Asus NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5090 Edition 20 if you do not buy it as a bundle. So it's 11,000 total for the bundle. Yeah, that's crazy. So what does the, let's find out. I'm going to click it. So it contains the GPU, motherboard, power supply, and it also contains 3,000 watts of power there, and the GR20 case. So, and the crazy thing is, let's see. They just gave it SKU 9. They didn't even put that much, but it's going to be available soon. That case that case looks disgusting. I'm not a big fan of it. I get it. 3,000 watts would be yes. Definitely plenty to cook at 12 volt. I agree. But you can only buy it in a kit. I'm assuming, okay, if it's with a kit and it's $10,000, that would make more sense. But if it's not with a kit and the GPU alone is $10,000, that would be insane. So maybe, so we're going to find out as soon as it comes in, but it looks like they do have one only available. But that's pretty crazy. Light works. So let's go back here. Okay, we got distracted with this whole 5090 edition 20. Again, very high-end GPU. They have it in stock. They don't list the pricing. They have the SKU for the GPU, but they don't have the pricing quite yet for the actual bundle. Now, of course, the Gigabyte Infinity. Yeah, I could see it. Because, I mean, the Matrix alone was over $6,000 for it. So, if you compare the Infinity, it comes with, again, OLED display as well. You compare it next to, say, the Asus NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5090, the the overclocked liquid version. It's not that far off. It's like about an extra $170. Of course, the liquid cooled version would definitely be great for temperatures. But even then, you compare it under that, the Asus NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5090 ROG Astro White is $4,929. So you compare those two, for it being an anniversary edition, it's truly not that expensive because this RTX 5090, which is the white version, or say you get the BTF version, is only like about like another $300 more for an anniversary edition compared to how much it's going to cost if you take a look at the GeForce RTX 5090 Edition 20 by Asus, as that's definitely going to be priced up there. As you guys know, you have the MSI Lightning, which is also very highly priced. MSI Lightning's 5090 was at $7,000 to purchase. And I get it. It's really fancy. It has the wonderful display on the GPU itself. But yeah, no, isn't that crazy? The Infinity overclock comes with the 27-inch OLED monitor. So Takuma agrees that the Gigabyte card makes more sense with 5300 for the same overclock power than both Asus cards and MSI Lightning. Agreed. I have 4 PCs, only one is DDR5. I am on that PC at the 14700K, 32 gigabytes, and DDR5 5060 Ti, 16 gigabytes. Azusi, oh, is my volume low? Do you guys feel like my volume is low, fam? I don't think it is. What are the specs on that OLED that they're offering? So the specs that they're offering, I believe I know exactly which one it's going to be. I believe it's going to be the 1441. Actually, this is actually a really decent one too. I'd say it even better than the one I thought. So this one's a 280 hertz model. It's worth $500 by itself. And oddly enough, it's sold out at the Miami store. Interesting, though, is that they'll be willing to ship it to your house. It seems that they have some probably more than likely to deal with Gigabyte on on an item like this. This is actually the first time I've seen a offer where they actually will ship it. But it's 280 hertz for the QD OLED gaming monitor. So this is actually not a bad deal. Well, like with the GPU itself. So 1440p, 280 hertz G-Sync. Yeah, absolutely. Because they did have that other one. Remember, guys, that I brought up? I'll show you a Newegg. I actually still have that tab open. This is actually a really super great deal. If you guys are looking for a Gigabyte OLED display, but of course the refresh rate isn't as high. It's at 240 hertz. The other one versus 280 hertz. And the tech in it is going to be a little bit different compared to the other one that they're showing you, which is more of a little bit more of a newer model. which is going to be based on this. But if you've never gamed on OLED monitors or OLED displays, I definitely highly recommend them. Definitely a big difference if you're going from something like IPS uh, and versus something to OLED. If you have an OLED TV, you pretty much get a good decent idea of just how different it can truly look on a something like as of a gaming display, especially with the low input and when it comes to the colors and the low and the pure blacks, which certainly do help it. So they offer this MO27Q if you do purchase the Infinity RTX 5090. So I still have fear of burn-in on OLEDs. I'll stick with my current 4K 144 hertz panels until at least one of them dies. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. I can get why some are definitely afraid of OLED, but I can certainly tell you that, or for anyone that is nervous about switching to something like OLED, I do have to say it is quite a difference like when it came to how it originally came out. Because before then, it didn't really have as much technology. So now they have different ways to preventing burn-in. They have heat sinks now. They have pixel movement. They also have ambient sensors. They have all different ways in order to do so to prevent it from happening. But as long as if you're not the type to leave like a static screen up on a OLED display, more than likely you're fine. I've had my so far on the experience, like even there's been times, of course, where I accidentally left my OLED display on a static desktop to say, where on a luckily I use a live wallpaper. But anyway, it hasn't, and knock on wood, it has not caused any type of burn-in, at least. The Micro Center deal is very good, 5300, and yeah, absolutely. The pixel shifting is a game changer for burn-in. Absolutely, it is. Windows desktop is the yeah, the automatic just like boot up where it wants to restart for some reason on update. I am on OLED and I just got done with the pixel cleaning not too long ago. Yeah, it's honestly not that bad. And usually they have a timer on a lot of these displays where if the pixel cleaning does activate, it's going to be at a time when you're not using your PC. So it does have timers like where it makes sure that it has like its own type of care and maintenance when it comes to it. But OLED has certainly quite improved quite a bit, and they do say that after you go anything else after OLED, mine's also cleans the pixels and stuff automatically when I don't use it, then turns the pixels black so it won't burn in. And exactly that's exactly how they work. In fact, if I take a look at this specific display here, let me see. So, for example, and this one is roughly about almost like 3 years old, this specific model. And so far, the hasn't burned in. It's been actually really great. So, of course, you have proximity sensors. And for the screen protection, you have pixel cleaning and screen move. That's another one that I completely forgot about. Screen move is also another technology that they use to prevent any type of burn-in. And how it works is if you're, well, say even using your PC, what it'll do is it slightly shifts the screen every once in a while in order to prevent any type of burn-in as well. So mine is a LG C2 65-inch TV. The crazy thing is they're all the way up to C6 already. I got the C1, and I feel like the C1's a great TV. I love it, but I would love if I could get something just a tad bit brighter. Because I noticed like if there's nothing that if especially when you're watching something, uh, like if HDR isn't like activated, then it can be like pretty dark when you're watching any or streaming any type of movies or shows on it. So another thing I do have to mention to you guys and to announce is that we have a PC build that is going to show up onto the channel sometime soon. Um, excuse me. We have a PC build that's coming up on the channel sometime soon. It's quite exciting because this one's going to be a little bit different than some other ones that I've built onto the channel. Also, there's going to be a rebuild. And what we did was rebuild Ricky's PC, if you guys are familiar with Ricky, over at when we went to Micro Center Live, as he got pretty much tired of his NZXT flow case. So that's another one that's going to come up. So, and for tomorrow, uh, I will be posting another video, of course, as always on Sundays, which will be based on probably more than likely based on to the power supply, everything detailed in the Sakura edition. So they are up to C5 now and 144 hertz. Yeah, they even have 165 hertz. So I think Hisense TVs are great values. Hisense and so is TCL. They've been trying to really push the limit and pulling people into their displays as well. So I'm pretty sure I'm just curious to see how it's going to be this year when it comes to Computex, because I mean not Computex when it comes to CES. So they are on C6 165. Yeah, 100. Yeah, that's exactly the one I'm thinking of. The 165 hertz they have up to. So it's pretty insane, right? On a TV. Who would have thought this day and age we would actually see it on a TV? I always thought we would see higher refresh rates only on displays, but I'm glad LG is like doing something like this, like actually pushing further up against the envelope. So, GPU wise, for those who are concerned and you want to get a new GPU, I would say you certainly still can. You still can get GPUs. You just have to be smart on what you purchase. Now, if you're new into purchasing, say you want to do a PC build or you want to upgrade your PC, I've been highly pushing on the AMD RX 9070 XT, as I mentioned to everybody, and everybody knows who is part of the channel. Definitely one of my favorite cards when it comes to GPUs, and the reason being is because its price to value is just quite phenomenal compared to something like spending into, say, even a RTX 5080. The RTX 5080 has really pushed up a lot higher. AMD has also pushed up quite a bit, but not really as large compared to how NVIDIA has been pushing up their prices, unfortunately. But there is some good news, a little bit, somewhat good news. It seems that some of the GPUs actually have adjusted in a more positive spin to where they actually adjust it a little bit cheaper now. A little bit cheaper than what it was last week, I should say. So it kind of balanced out. They went from almost $200 to $300 more, and now this week they're, instead of the average, it's now down to like $100 more. So it's somewhat good news, or if it's more of the marketing side. So Zenomore says it's like it was yesterday when I know. That's how time is, man. It's always like that. It's like I felt like I was just at CES, and I can certainly say one thing. Time just certainly feels like it moves quicker and quicker. So Bob says I like playing spaghetti kart in the living room TV at 4K 120. Yeah, good. That sounds like a good time. I said mine had to last 5 years in January, and it will be 4 years I had it. Wow. Already. My purchase isn't smart, but I will install it and use it. It'll be fun. It'll be a fun little project. I would love to hear your thoughts on the Infinity card. Um, I don't know what happened from 2 weeks ago. The pricing was everywhere, but not good. Yeah, yeah, you were saying that like it was like kind of priced pretty expensive, I remember, in the European regions. So going back to this, we're not gonna obviously go back to the 5090. We're gonna look at the 5080 here, and I just want to show you the pricing, how it looks. Now, Gigawatt's NVIDIA WindForce is 1449, so it's not terrible. They haven't quite pushed up as bad. Still very expensive for a 5080. Definitely expensive for a 5080. Now Zotac NVIDIA RTX 5080, 1600. It's kind of weird, I gotta say. I didn't expect Zotac to end up being a little bit more expensive than some of the brands that we know, such as Gigabyte. Sometimes they're a little bit more expensive than MSI, it seems, in current days. Zotac, I always thought was more of the definitely a brand where you can rely on if you're looking for a more fair priced GPU. But even them, they're charging about 1,600. This is NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5080. Now, this is no surprise, 2100 dropped down $100 away from 2200. So there is a slight drop, not much of a drop. So tell you the truth, I've been thinking just going after this monitor after this no smart crap. They put malware on my TV. I had enough. I get that. You know, I was really tempted when getting that whole 5K LG monitor. I think it's a great monitor too. I think it's a wonderful monitor to have. But that is certainly one of the things I do worry about when it comes to LG's products, is that if you'll end up getting ads. Luckily, I actually still use a LG monitor, but this is based on the 34-inch IPS display, my secondary display, and on that is pretty much, it's not the smart monitors like how the new ones are, to where they just automatically install some crazy BS in there. Because I've been hearing it's been happening on not just the TVs but also on the displays as well. And they're also labeling some displays as AI assisted, which is also interesting. Which will, I guess, assume like uh almost like a proximity sensor, so to say, because how it works is pretty much determining the perfect color, determining the perfect brightness on your in your ambient room, so to say. So yes, for a short period of time, the RTX 5090 was near the 7,000 mark, but then it backed in up to 5,500 mark. So yeah, it's crazy too, because it's just all over the place when it comes to this market. But luckily, again, the pricing has kind of shifted a bit down, more of a positive spin. I'm just a bit curious to see how it will kind of reacts when it comes to next week, especially when it comes to the market reaction. As you guys know, there was a lot of positivity within the last week when it came to AI, so it definitely pushed up a lot of these companies, and also was part of the reasons of GPUs costing higher, because we're paying more and more for memory. So, what's up, Havy? Have you changed about anything about your room? By the way, I think you mentioned 3D printing stand, printing a stand for the 3080 Ti. Yes, I did have it, but I ended up actually repairing that 3080 Ti, and I don't have it on the stand anymore actually. But I did have it on there for quite a while. So people should return refund TVs that install anything or display ads that would put a stop to that quick. I agree. Like when something like happens, I have no idea. I can't. I have no idea. That's a more of the YouTube thing. But I do agree. Like if once you start getting ads or automatic like Microsoft Bing or not Bing Copilot, like how that was installed on the LG TVs, that was pretty insane. I don't think anybody was happy with that. I'm a bit biased. I'm a bit biased, and I only buy Sony TVs. Never had a problem, but then again, I don't connect them to the internet. Well, that's a good thing. Maybe you don't need to. There is a talk whether LG broke the open source contract putting Copilot on the TV without telling the users and asking them to enable it first. Welcome, welcome back, Genomorph. You were a member. I know you were a member, but for some reason, I guess it didn't pop up as that. And speaking of which, what I gotta do, what I have to do here is I definitely got to put out our wonderful, little where is it? There we go. Dang, where is it? I'm trying to find it right now. Ah, so it's right here. Create add stream marker. Right now, sorry guys, I'm just right now what I'm doing is I'm just trying to add. All right. Dang, where'd they put it now? They moved it over. They definitely moved it. Add stream marker change. Okay, okay. So what I was just trying to find, guys, was trying to figure out. As you guys know, we are trying to do the whole Threadripper build. So on this upcoming Threadripper build, if we go ahead and do this, of course, it's thanks to many of you guys. We are built up to pretty much $240 for this Threadripper build, and hopefully we keep pushing up for it. So it was all thanks to one of our fan band that brought it up. Anybody purchased that? It's not ready. They actually have it available. If you're curious, it actually threw me off. I was surprised they had it available. Also, and again in a little bit, but they offer it in a bundle at Micro Center. You know what? There's a good place we could actually check. Is let me open up a new tab here, and let's go ahead and check if Newegg has it. And Newegg actually might have the 20 edition here. So let's see. ASUS 20 edition. Let's see what they have available. Oh, they do. Oh, it's 6,000. You see it, guys? So there it is. But it's out of stock as of now. Look how much they want for their luggage. If you want it, it's $629. That is crazy for a that's pretty wild. I just bought a 8 TB Seagate Iron Wolf from Newegg. Oh, that's actually, yeah, that's gone up quite a bit actually. $30 since I walked in Micro Center and bought 8. Wow. Yeah, that's a big difference there. So they do got some of the 20 editions. Even this backpack is crazy. $331 for the backpack. I do like YKK zippers though. So that's kind of like the zippers that they use, like on, if you're familiar with, like almost like the Peter McKinnon bags. That's what they use on there. But take a look at this. The cooler and the motherboard. But that's from Hong Kong. So that's not actually sold from Newegg itself. I think it says out of stock because they don't have it yet. But I think stores that seem like they are preparing to be able to get their hands onto it. The ASUS GR20 edition open frame PC is $650 for this case. Only $650, guys. I may get the keyboard, and you know how much that keyboard is? It's crazy too. 5060 Ti is at a 5070. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. It just keeps pushing further up. Damn, it's very it's very expensive, yes. So if you want this case, it's $650. And the reason why it says out of stock, it's not like they sold it just quite yet. The reason being is because they are preparing stock supply for it. Micro Center has it. It shows that they have it in stock, just one. So it seems like they're slowly coming in as of now. This ASUS ROG Crosshair X870E with the actual cooler is about $3,300. This is directly sold from Newegg itself. But this looks like a bundle, guys. So this looks like it'll come with the motherboard, the actual suitcase, the cooler, pretty much everything but this, but the GPU itself. The GPU itself is 6,000. So, yeah, that's pretty wild actually. So if you, but they offer, okay, so if you get this, they get the Montech M-Key Pro Limited Gold Edition keyboard. Oh, wonderful. Can you imagine? You get a Montech keyboard. with your Asus and 20 edition 20 GPU here, the RTX 5090. So AMOLED display connection only. Oh, so they do have USB-C here. I'll show it to you guys. They have USB-C here, but that's direct connection for the AMOLED display. And then here they got 3 display ports and 2 HDMI ports. Trying to build a NAS ECC RAM, it's so hard to find. Yeah, it's more expensive now. Oh, can you show me something not insanely expensive, but value compressor air blower? All I see is like 30 to 40. Yeah, usually the newer ones, the newer compressors that they have, they're not as, we'll get back to this wonderful collection of Asus ROG Edition 20. It seems like they don't sell the motherboard itself. It's like you gotta buy the kit. So we'll see. We'll see what they offer. But as in when it comes to dust blowers, I do have one that I usually recommend is Electrovac, but it's an older model I have. But they do have newer ones. Tronic. Okay, so you do have these ones. These ones aren't too bad, but it's like pretty much like any other blower. So these are like pretty much other brands pretty much come out with it. This is a Wolfbox one. Let's see what else. Compressed air duster. The one I like to use, I think it's called Electrovac. Let me just double check. DataVac. Okay, so the one I personally like to use is DataVac. That's what it is. DataVac. I haven't really looked to see if they have any newer models, but that's what I use. Something like this, like the Metrovac. But again, this is more of like definitely like a lot of the OGs definitely know about this one. But these little ones, they shouldn't be too bad. The little ones I would assume do pretty well, but yeah, this probably is like their newer one, I would assume. But yeah, this is the one I personally use. Let's see. Using ECC for NAS is optional. Yeah, I mean, oh, if you're trying to build a, okay, so if you're trying to build a server, it's probably a better idea to get ECC if that's the case. It's more reliable in that sense. So it's error correcting at least. Let me see. What's up, Steam Hardware? Good to see you. For some reason, then pop up here, unless I just missed you. So basically around $60-$80 is a good one. It's a decent one, but honestly, I feel like you can get away with these mini blowers. I think they would actually do pretty well. Battery wise, I would imagine they probably run out relatively quick. So I'm really curious. I definitely want to test this out just to see how it works for sure. I bought one of these to blow out the dust of my PC, but it also works in the home. Oh yeah, of course. You definitely have other options there. So I have to get one because I keep using actual air compressor. With yeah, that's something you don't want to do because you end up picking up like different things like particles and things that, as you know, the air compressor collects moisture too. I use a mini blower. They are very powerful. Mine has a fan that goes, oh, really? That's pretty wild. Yeah, these one, I mean, you can get this one if you're like a little bit more on a tighter budget. I would imagine it probably would do exactly what you're looking for. But just like anything else, like when it comes to these blowers, once they start getting hot, it just doesn't blow as well. So it's good to use them in burst, I feel like, when it comes to this. I bet if you put a tachometer on it, it probably doesn't get 130K as advertised. Yeah. Yeah, I would imagine so. Of course, these numbers are well over exaggerated at times. So, oh, here goes a guy. He's actually using it. Oh, you know what's funny too, guys? Like, how we usually talk about this whole GTA 6 thing. I gotta hear what you guys think of this too. And when it comes to the whole leaks, because you know what's funny? I barely, we don't really, I don't cover usually this as much on my channel. I just cover like when there's, of course, breaking news about it. But as you guys know, we went on Wednesday, showed a little footage, and Take Two got pretty pissed off. They even they even flagged the video like immediately as soon as the live was over. I was like, wow, that's pretty crazy. Even though it barely showed any footage after that. And on X as well, it was the same way. They got pretty upset when I mentioned something on it, and then ended up getting like a DMCA warning. So I'll check Timu Premium 500K. Oh yeah, yeah. Timu definitely has the best of the best. Mine is the JVS Cam Electric Air Duster. 9 for $5 more. You can get it with a million lumen LED. There you go. That's it. And the X3. Rockstar doesn't play. They have to keep in good terms with Netflix. They keep the exclusivity agreements. Yeah, yeah, they weren't kidding. So now I feel like if I do mention anything about it, I can't show any leaked footage because if I do, then they immediately respond. So you definitely know the footage is real. I gotta say, you know that for a fact if they're flagging people for this. And the funny thing is, on when you get the MCA warnings, like from on X, you also see who everyone else who got warned as well. So you'll see actually a list of people on that actually got warned about that content, so to say. And you know what's crazy? It wasn't even a video on X. It was actually just it was a photo. So I thought, photo wouldn't be much, but I guess that photo was a little too much even for Rockstar. And I guess because it was an approved photo. So we still haven't tested one of those T-Moves Platinum PSUs. Yeah, we could definitely test it, but I'm not gonna. I won't test it here. That's like asking for trouble there. Uh, we can you imagine trying out one of their power supplies? Take Two is evil. They deserve to using Netflix to show trailers of 1.5 billion pre-orders and still not enough for them their damn greed. I do agree. It really still sounds weird to me, because of having it exclusively shown on Netflix for the first. I know it's going to premiere also on YouTube later, but it's just really weird for Netflix to show it first. Out of every other type of streaming platform, they want to show it on Netflix first. So that definitely is something that does rub people the wrong way. Um, I know many people out there are not going to be happy about it, and I guarantee you, even if it premieres on Netflix, there's going to be people that's going to be showing it. And they're going to, and Rockstar is definitely going to try to shut them down. Charizard, suffer Rockstar, suffer. You know, what's crazy too? Uh, when it comes to the whole GTA 6, when they were showing it, it's just like it's like this whole opposite effect that just happened. This guy's playing GTA 6 on a PC, and it's not even on a console. So that's probably really ticking them off as well. So I realized how my girlfriend is playing Battlefield 6 on her ancient PC. Oh wow, that's it. Yeah. She has that turbo button. That was like kind of like a useless button. Problem is E3 died because of the pandemic, Final Nail, and other things, so they use Netflix and other companies follow. But what about there? I can name you a perfect thing besides E3. How about this? You also have the Game Awards. They can show it at the Game Awards, but for some reason they don't. It makes absolutely no sense. But I do know that Rockstar did say this. They said that they want to show it on Netflix because they want to draw a new audience. I feel like that they will end up pushing some sort of Netflix cloud gaming, because that, if you notice, Netflix has been like trying to add gaming to one of their benefits if you are part of Netflix. So, Bro Leaker says he's got a kill switch. Can you imagine if he actually released a build on PC? That, you know how pissed they would be. So the Game Awards, yeah, they have the Game Awards, and but they never show it. They, every time I watch the Game Awards, I have to be. I know you guys probably feel the same way, but anytime you watch the Game Awards, you feel it's more mediocre because any of the big titles that you want to see that to show up on the Game Awards never does. It always ends up showing up on some other time. There's a few good games that'll come out, but nothing as big as something like Half-Life 3 or something like GTA 6. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just like the Emmys. The ultimate goal: advertise on Netflix, then allow people to stream GTA 5 through Netflix. You will own nothing. Yeah, I, I, it's almost like everyone's being forced to be able to game on the cloud. And actually, I do want to say this. I haven't got to put up a poll for everybody yet, so I will put up a poll. And would you give cloud gaming a chance if they gave you a year free? So here's pretty much an interesting question, I feel. So if they allow cloud gaming, would you would you take it if it was for a year free? Doesn't matter what company. Would you attempt to give it a shot? Would you try it out to see how cloud gaming is? Because I think that's how it will start. They're going to offer it first, and if for free, to see how many people they can get on it. So Hidden Bull says no, he is not interested in it. Let's see. Yeah, Strauss Take-Two's CEO says within 3 years can go get cloud gaming. So yeah, Netflix wants in and are bidding. I could see that. Did you? No, I haven't. I heard great things though. I did hear great things about the whole Black Flag recent. But somewhere that Ubisoft was waiting on how successful the game was. I think it didn't wasn't exit. I don't think it was as successful as they wanted it to be, but I did hear like pretty good things about it. Honestly, I can see cloud gaming working for major cities and urban environments. If you live in the middle of nowhere and can't afford high-speed internet, there's a problem. Yes, that is true. And Havy says two. Is this a poll or are you asking? Yeah, this is a poll. So if anyone, if you don't know how to vote in the poll, you just simply put one or two. If you put one or two, that will actually move the poll. So yes, just like any Linus and Havy. Once you are in it, that's it. So we're seeing quite the quite the mixed reaction here. 50-50. 50-50, guys. I would try it while it's free and then just say on the cloud game it includes, I'll even add some add to the offer here. Like, how about this? This is a tricky one. if they allow, okay, if you can play cloud gaming for free, and it also includes that you get to play GTA 6 first on the cloud on PC, would you do it? I mean, technically you're streaming, so you can play on any platform. Doesn't matter whether it's PC or if it's on a TV. Not with the latency for FPS. Yeah, shooters. Yeah, esports wouldn't be happy with that. That's non-negotiable. That is true. Like when it comes to FPS, if you're a true competitive gamer and you play esports, this would not be ideal for a lot of people. So what I meant to say, I want raster performance when I build my PC instead of relying DLSS and frame gen. Cloud gaming is somewhat a similar thing. It all depends. I mean, like they still can control DLSS and pretty much FSR or any type of tech. Did I screw up getting the 9070 over the 9070 XT? I live in a hot climate, so I was worried about temps. What's the reason why you feel you messed up, DK? Just out of curiosity. The actress that played Sam in Until Dawn passed away for. Oh yeah, she passed away. It's a shame, right? Real, that's a real shame too. And she was young. 9070 XT prices are skyrocketing here. Well, yeah, I mean that's pretty much everywhere. Even if you look at Amazon here, let me put it in here. $740 for this GPU. ASRock Radeon RX 9070 XT is 720. So it's roughly gone up like almost like about $70 to $100. Could just undervolt the 9070 XT. You know, if you have a dual BIOS on your 9070, they were able to get it to pull the XT's power. But I'm not sure if that option is still available now. So could the 36 years old, yeah. 9070 XT runs everything well that I've tried. It's just that surprising that the best value card would go up in price. And in a way, it kind of surprises me, but not. And the reason being is because they're just trying to follow pretty much the volatility of how everything is. They're just following the volatility when it comes to the pricing. NVIDIA went up, so AMD feels like they also have to go up too. And this has to also go. Just don't let my man Jackie Chan pass away. That would be a real punch to the heart. I do have to say that when it comes to the value, it's more so because the wafer cost when it comes to the memory. If it wasn't for that, then I wouldn't continue to push up. Now, of course, I'm sure you guys heard that motherboard pricing is planned to go up in pricing, and it's just going to be more expensive, unfortunately, when it comes to PC hardware. And I mean, it's pretty wild to think we pretty much survived like a year nearly of this whole price uprising, because once it hits October, it's been a year, which is pretty wild. Many people felt that this was going to be super temporary, that it was going to just be a quick phase, such as like what happens when GPUs first released, but unfortunately it wasn't. That is true. That is true. Um, you know, they joked about this too. They said that what the planned event will be is when Netflix does premiere, they're going to show the execution of leaks. uh, to show the world that you can never do this to us. So best value is Intel's B570. I know, especially like you look at the AMD's RX 550, I mean not 5050, the RX 9050. When you look at that card, you're like, what were they thinking? Laugh my ass off. Maybe she did Rockstar Associate. Yeah, yeah, maybe she's one of the actresses in Rockstar, like one of the voice actresses, and I was about to leak some really good info, but then they had to shut her down. So OG Budget King on a used market is RTX 2080 Ti. Yeah, yeah. A lot of people are actually getting that card a lot. I've been hearing a lot of people going for the 2080 Ti. Cloud gaming will solve piracy for game producers. I'm sure they're looking forward to that. I bet they are. I bet they are. I can see them looking forward to something like that. That's Twitter cope. They will never catch my man leak. Yeah, I have. Can I have a free 9070 GRE? Oh, only if it were that easy, Pixel. So I'll shut this poll down, and I gotta say, I am curious though. Like, I'm curious how many people feel that they don't want to end up getting any PC hardware soon because of the pricing, or has everyone adjusted? So I do actually have a question for everybody else, for this, for the whole fan bam. So I'm just curious, out of curiosity here, um, do you feel that you have adjusted to today's PC pricing? There you go. So take your vote on this one. Out of your, you can feel free to vote. Have you adjusted to today's PC pricing? For all many of you PC enthusiasts as well, or gamers, or anybody, or PC builders, do you feel like you personally adjusted to it, or do you feel like this it's just expensive? So the 3080 Ti isn't $350 maybe on Facebook Marketplace, but you got to be really careful unless ordering. Shipping usually is 450. Yeah. Yeah, that's about the average price that I've seen, like for the 3080 Ti. They usually sell like for 500, believe it or not. It's crazy. I would try cloud gaming to see if it would work on Starlink. Probably need fiber though. Yeah, yeah, absolutely would. So many people has not adjusted to the pricing of PC hardware. It's too expensive. Many people feel it's too expensive right now. So I actually have that graphics card. It's a pretty good one. It is. It's a great card. Seen 3080 Ti's on eBay for 300. Oh, that's really good then. If you've seen it for that low, that's actually excellent. I have to send this in again from the 2007 magazine. Prices aren't as bad today. Alienware Area 51 ALX Core 2 quad, 3.4 gigahertz, 2 gigabytes of DDR2, two 768. Oh, that's when it was running SLI. Two 150 gigabyte hard drives, and one 500 gigabyte hard drive for 8,180. Yeah, that's that sounds about right, to be honest. Uh, Like from back then. Um, but yeah, that's Alienware though. They were always expensive when they ended up releasing their PCs for the Win 3 cards even. I mean, pretty soon we're gonna have to be gaming on 2 cards. Like when it comes to DLSS 2, I mean not DLSS 2, DLSS 5. When you look at DLSS 5, they had to run 2 GPUs in order for that to run well, and it was 25090s. But again, it could just be because of the bandwidth limitations, but we'll know in time for sure. I know it's too expensive when people come to me with the intentions to buy a new PC, but quickly change their mind when they see the cost. If you haven't looked for a new PC, it's, yeah. And also, one thing too for us, Hidden, is that we're also even competing with pre-built PCs. So of course, people are going to naturally see like a pre-built PC, and they're like, oh, it's actually a great deal for this pre-built. But of course, the quality is not going to be nearly as high as ours. But I actually took your pretty much your advice in, and actually went with the idea of just going with doing monthly payments for some of the PCs, and that seems like that has helped for sure. I feel like the monthly payments are certainly helping compared to not offering any monthly payments. I've even added Affirm and Klarna as well when it comes to the website. So prices are bad because they were lower. It costs them the same amount of money to produce components. The difference is all pure profit. So Zigerman says, get a 9070 XT, wait for fine wine, and call it a day. That's exactly what I mean. Just get a 9070 XT. If you can't afford, if you guys can't afford a higher end NVIDIA card, honestly, the 9070 XT performs just as well. It performs just as well as the 5070 Ti. And many people are surprised when they actually see the performance of a 9070 XT benchmarked up against something like a 5070 Ti, and sometimes it can even outperform the 5070 Ti, especially in AMD specialized games. So Xenomorph says that it would be awesome if SLI would return this time. It would be better. Love the EVGA cards. That's the only way people just can't afford flat, can't afford what they want up front. Yeah, that's what it seems like. Um, some people even offered to do a large down payment instead of just going through the regular 12 months. And it seems like some people can pay it off like in 2 3 months. Some people pay it off in 6 months. But so far, that's what I've seen. So, why wouldn't EVGA make AMD cards? Uh, I wouldn't be surprised if they do. I feel like they're just kind of out of the game. I mean, they don't even make PSUs anymore. I certainly do miss EVGA in the market. They were certainly one of the better ones to be out there for sure. Um, Again, a company similar to EVGA was actually XTX. XTX actually used to work with NVIDIA back then, and they performed great cards for them. But then they were actually the first ones to pull out before even EVGA, and then EVGA actually stayed in a lot longer compared to them. But there's a few companies that does produce uh, 9070 XT cards that used to be with NVIDIA. So, or a 9060 XT is still value if you're brave. You don't want to run Cyberpunk in 4K. Give it a chance for Intel cards. I mean, if you had to decide between two cards, you had to decide between a Intel B580 and you compare it next to something like the RX 9050 XT, I would say go with Intel. You got more VRAM, which is again, it has up to 12 gigabytes of VRAM compared to something that only has 8. Yes, they mentioned about the 4 gigabyte model, but unfortunately, not unfortunately, I should say, fortunately, that 4 gigabyte model is only in the pretty much a pre-built PC. So Steve says I would go with the 9760 XT if it has the 16 gigabytes of VRAM, 200 to the. Yeah, I mean they do have it. They do have a 9060 XT. In fact, the 9060 XT that we put into the Steam Machine build is only about $450. And they even have ones that are cheaper. And that was a pretty decent choice one. That was actually an XTX one that we put into that Steam Machine build. Yes, yes, ground game. They've even stopped making PSUs. For a while, they got into the idea of making motherboards too, but it didn't last very long. Unfortunately, they came out with a few motherboards and that was it. It just they're kind of out of it. So I think they're kind of, if they ever come back, I think they're just kind of waiting for the right timing. And it's kind of smart because they almost pulled out at the right time. Maybe they had an indication that this was going to happen with AI, that all costs was going to go up, and that it's just going to hurt them more to stay into the market, especially that they don't make cards anymore. So I think we will eventually see the return. Yes. Oh, Real Tech Geek remembers that. XFX used to make AMD and NVIDIA cards. NVIDIA pushed them out, or because the EVGA didn't want to because of that. There was another company too. BFG was another big company back then that also used to work with NVIDIA, but they obviously ended up kind of just like pretty much pulling back out as well. So The B580 has compatibility issues with lots of games. I would not even consider buying one. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying if you're comparing it to next to like a next to the RX 9050, I just feel like it's a better deal. But I just hope Intel certainly does push up further. I hope that they continue to push more for their graphics card sector, because we could use more competition. We can certainly use it. So Zig says XFX was strong in the current and last AMD generation. Some of the highest rated cards. Definitely agree. I want to check something on this whole thing because I know you guys might not be seeing some of the uh, X chatters. So I'm gonna double check this, make sure that it's in, because for some reason it's not pulling up. There we go. Let me try to reset that. There we go. Hopefully that'll come up now. Beautiful. But yes, I do agree. Definitely agreed. Um, so plus 12 volt. 12 volt high power port is a trash connector. That's funny. The 6090 will run off of the Tesla charger cable. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe I'll run off of 480 even, like off of like a line like a 480, 480 volt line. You know, similar to what they use in locomotives. Let's see. Um, but yeah, if you are to decide cards here, the RX 9070 XT is actually a great choice if you're comparing it next to something like a 5070 Ti. You're looking at something that's you can get something as low as $720 compared to something that can be as high or really as low as 900. And this isn't even from Amazon. This is actually from this looks like a scam, so I would not touch that. From Amazon, this looks more realistic. 1087. If you get RTX 5070 Ti, that would be the better deal. But compared to getting something like the RX 9070 XT, where you could literally save yourself like almost like $400, you could get yourself a new monitor. It's been done before by the Voodoo 3D FX. Hey, pretty soon we're going to have to look at different areas where we're going to have to be next to a power plant, be able to power up the GPU. And I wouldn't be surprised one day you'll see the GPU running externally instead of running inside of your PC. Like you'll need a separate case just for your GPU. Can you imagine that? Just like another extra case. It would look like pretty much like another PC case just for your GPU, just for the cooling. And then it has to be it has to be perfectly chilled. Why couldn't it? I just saw your chat message here too, Gino, over on Discord. Why couldn't they drop this while I was building my PC? You know what? I'm curious if Amazon has the Edition 20 cards here. Let's see if they have the Asus Edition 20. They might actually have it in stock. Oh, they got their displays. $1,199, guys, for the display. Isn't that crazy? I have the Voodoo 5500. It has the Molex power connectors, which was huge. Wondering at the time that if they even canceled the 6500. They got the ROG and NUC 16 edition 20 for 7,000. Crazy. Is this really from Asus or is this some of them? Okay, so they have a bunch of sellers that have it. And it's not even coming really truly directly from Amazon itself. So if the price of the 5080 stays exactly where it is, it would probably make more sense to get that over the 5070 Ti. Oh, it definitely does. Honestly, it applies to you. Would you have? Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, The one thing I wish I would have actually honestly went for was the 5090's Founder Edition. I got their email. This was last year, and at the time I was thinking, oh, my GPU is fine. I'm not going to bother with it. And then I had to end up upgrading it anyway later in the year. I'm like, man, I should have went with the 5090, and I could have got it at the original cost, which was 2,000. But yeah, now I can't believe I didn't go for that. I do regret that. I wanted the motherboard 20th edition, but 3200 is crazy. Absolutely, it's crazy. Not a lot of people can afford something like that. Um, the mouse is actually not nearly as expensive as I thought it was. $260. This is on Newegg Business that's selling it. Um, Here's the whole kit, guys. They got the whole kit right here. 17,000. They only got one left in stock, and it's sold by Rapid Ship, which sounds like a very trustworthy seller. Rapid Ship. You know, this guy definitely was a. That's a sketchy deal, but again, they have the GPU, they have the power supply, the case, and this is just unrealistic. That's crazy. Some guy with the A7900 XTX was making fun of my graphics cards for being a 2080. Oh, really? Last year's shop in my country still sold the 70. Oh, really? That's pretty wild. I mean, they are still selling 7000 series cards. That by sold by Asus, yeah, for 10,800. Let me see. That's the only ones that I see that they have. They have the keyboard for 600. So this one's sold by Newegg. So this is official. They have the keyboard. Let's see this NUC from Rapid Chip. So that's not truly official. This display, I remember this is the official pricing for it too. So that is legit. But again, it's 540 hertz, and it does have the dual mode. I think this is 1440. That again, that's crazy, right? The pricing for this. On Newegg, they do have it available, but you have an idea of how much it costs for these kits here. The 3300 comes with the AIO motherboard, and it also comes with, let me see. It also, I'm not sure what this is. I'm assuming some sort of accessory, the luggage tag. Because this, this piece of luggage is expensive too. Like if you were to get this suitcase, it's like $650. So you get the motherboard, you get the AIO, and let me see. Yeah, damn, that thing is massive too. Yeah, that's crazy. Like high tier is like a whole different level now. Like when it comes to a high end build, this is like a whole nother level. This is like luxury. I can't even call it high end. This is like luxury level. Yeah, the way this is going so far, I don't see we're going to see price of anything. Should have followed what Jensen said. The more you buy, the more you save. Yeah. Actually came into effect. Like that's actually a real thing now. It seems like. So let's go ahead and go down here. And the 3,000 watt power supply is $900 itself. Again, 3,000 watts. That's a lot of power. And this makes it seem reasonable, which is crazy because this product is temporarily out of stock because of high demand. We will replenish it as soon as possible. So $6,000 is what this cost. So that's how much Newegg is charging for it. Funny thing is that people will be buying those the other day it was available. Yeah, they would. They absolutely would. I bet you if this was available, people would certainly get their hands on this. And you know that, and remember, guys, like it seems like something stuff that you might want, but you also have to remember too, um, this might be pretty much like out of date within like the next few months, especially at TS, especially if this Super Series ends up coming out. So here we go. ZGen Grim says not paying money for a fancy AIO. Arctic a liquid all the way. Yeah, Arctic is awesome. I gotta say, like for what they offered, Arctic had a wonderful statement for everybody that are into PC building and gamers, and instead they chose to use that extra money that they have to be able to save everyone all the consumers willing to purchase um into back into their Arctic coolers. I mean, they dropped their pricing when it came to their AIOs. Just look at this price, right? You compare this price. What's up, Hamburger? Great to see you. Arctic CPU cooler. They literally dropped all their cooling pricing just to make it more affordable. Like, look at this. At $70, almost sounds like something you would not see, especially for an AIO. Tell me about like savings there. And this is actually one of their better coolers. So 3,000 watts. 25 amps, I agree. Most resident, yeah. It is 15 amps, I mean. So you can't even normal. Even like a very strong, like even a high end, like what's it called? Uh Not electrical box, what am I thinking? The panel. Even if the panel is graded higher, even the higher graded circuits are like 20 amps. So 20, let alone 25 amps is insane. But I don't think anyone's going to reach 3,000 watts unless there's only one way, unless you're doing AI locally. Yeah, that's true. They do have even the 420 millimeter cooler. I got a PC that has Type C, but I can't find any motherboard with Type E connectors with my PC. Still working without the Type E connector. So you're trying to find a okay. So exactly what type of motherboard do you have? Is it, or have you looked at? Because I'm trying to see what exactly you mean by Type E here. Let's see. Yeah, so yeah, Arctic has a lot of great coolers. They are very low cost and they cool the CPU really well. So you're looking for a motherboard. There's a lot of motherboards that have Type E connectors. What type of just out of curiosity, what type of what type of socket are you using, or what are you looking for processor wise? So with Arctic, you just get by a 420 millimeter. AM4 is stretching it. If you're trying to get Type E on an AM4, if you were to get Type E, I think a lot of the Type E's were more onto like the Threadrippers because they didn't really have like Type E as available as it came into AM4, unless they come out with one of the new motherboards. I have to even double check it. There's actually a Gigabyte motherboard we could look at, which may have Type E, but the thick radiator throws the fans into the trash and I replace them with, yeah, definitely better to do that. I had a Lian Li case with dual PSU trays or bays. That one allows that 2 power plugs, but second PSU had to be started man. Oh, really? That's crazy. I am planning on getting Arctic Liquid Freezer 3 Pro. So in my country, all the Type E's are like, yeah. Oh, you just don't like I get it. And sometimes some of the contact frames are like too simple. In my country, all the Type E's are like 600 bucks, which is around 250 or so in USD. So just to fill you guys in, if you guys are not sure what Type E is, Type E is what you use to connect your front panel when it comes to USB-C. So that's what he is talking about. So we're going to go over here because Gigabyte actually re-released some motherboards, which I'm going to take a look at. So that might be your better option, waiting for the re-release of the AM4 and use their motherboard. Let me see. I posted it a little while ago. Where is it? Right, I think it's right around here. Oh, I think I went too far. Where is it? Gigabyte, where are you? You know what? I'll just find out like this. Type it in, find out this way. Because I know there's a lot of tweets there. But they're supposed to come out with a new motherboard. Maybe it has Type E. Not really new, but it's one that they've always had. Here it is. And I can't really zoom in. Let's try to zoom in here. This is based on the B450M D3HP. We're going to take a deeper look at that. We'll download more RAM a little later here. The version 2, this is it. This is the re-released version. And yeah, Type C is not Type E is not available on this board either. So like I said, to do it on AM4 is really a stretch to be able to do that. If you're going to get a Type E connector, honestly your best bet is to go AM5 or just go Intel LGA 1700 like Alder Lake. That would definitely be your best chance. I'm sure they might have a converter for it, but you would probably more than likely have to put it into something like a PCI Express or something in order for you to do that. But these models, they're not going to have that type of connection because Type E is more newer. So if you get a cheaper AM5 board or even again Intel LGA 1700 board, you go Intel, you can more than likely take advantage of that. Yeah, exactly. That's why I mentioned the whole Intel like Alder Lake or Raptor Lake. You can use that, and you can definitely get it. So, for example, I'm just gonna look up a random board here. A Z, like you can look up a Z690 even, and more than likely you will have that connection. And there you go. I think that's it right there. Let me see. Yep, there's your Type E connector right there. So just go Intel, if anything. And you can take advantage of it that way. Yeah, but I don't know what LGA 1700 GPU has the same price and performance as the 5500. Oh, that's easy. Go 12600K even. The 12 if you go like if you want to look at like back in DDR4, I would say the 12600K would easily do it. I looked at and that would actually outperform the 5500. I looked at DDR5 RAM prices and new and secondhand a little bit. Many of the good offers are Intel optimized modules. Makes perfect sense actually. So if you want to get some decent RAM, make sure to that's another thing is that you want to also make sure you get a decent RAM kit. You want it to be compatible. So I'm glad Sig Gangram actually brought this up because even if you go DDR5, you can even take advantage of the Intel optimized modules if you can. But yeah, I would say just give it a shot, Hamburger. I think you would certainly appreciate it. You would actually be happy with the performance that you can get out of something like a Intel board. I know they get so much flack as it is, but that generation where they failed us has passed. I hate to say it, but I feel like we definitely need to move on from that because they have been certainly producing well now. Even though They haven't. I'd say the worst generations for Intel was between 9th to the 11th, and it's around 500, and the 5500 is like 350, and I'm too broke to afford it. Yeah, well, if you want Type E, like if you truly want that badly, you're going to have to go that direction. Linus mentioned that if DDR5 was $50 to $75 higher, I would say go DDR5. Yeah, of course. I mentioned this too, that DDR5 is not that much more expensive. I already busted this myth too. Zig says it feels like nowadays you can choose the RAM and then the mainboard, then it's supported like the RAM. Not, yeah, absolutely agreed. It's gotten to that point. You have to choose the RAM to kind of fit what you're purchasing, but it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. Intel 12th gen on their Alder Lake was honestly a great generation. Did you talk about the ASRock Nova Wi-Fi board? No, I have not. Um, has there been news about that? If there is, I have to look into it actually. So the PC will still work even without the. Oh yeah, yeah, of course. You don't need a Type E connector. If you're not using it, just don't plug it in. It'll work perfectly fine. The most important aspects is the case that you're using. You want to just make sure your front panel ports that has the front panel or an I/O ports available. That's it. That's a main important key. And then, of course, you can use the USB ports as well. Also, with DDR4, there isn't too much slowdown with 4 RAMs and sticks. With DDR5, 4 sticks will drop you to 3200 megatransfers automatically. Interesting. So DDR4 is better if you're filling up all the slots. I mean, it makes sense. I tested it like actually like when it came to um using up to 64 gigabytes of say RAM, and you just filled it all up, and it doesn't perform as well as if you're using it as a dual slot. So by the way, I'm going to build my new PC for my girlfriend. She wants to spend as little as possible. My plan is i5 12600K 9060 XT. That's awesome. She's definitely going to appreciate that. That's actually a good decision. So that's actually perfect. Her current PC is DDR3 system. Gotcha. Wait, we actually are going back to DDR. Yeah, they weren't kidding. There is popularity between that. I always need many USB ports. Gigabyte is mostly the choice for that purpose. Absolutely. Gigabyte's great for that. Asus is great for that. They're definitely great when it comes to the options when it comes to USB usage. So again, like if you're looking for some, like even this MSI Pro Z790 is only 118. Like you want to look for a DDR4 board here. Let's see. Here you go, DDR4. Oh wow, they want 300 for that's a lot for the Z690 actually. That's a lot. So I guess the plan is to charge more. Okay, this makes more sense. The MSI Pro 760M. This does not. I'm just curious if it has the Type E connector. This does not. So it sounds like a great build. 12th gen is underrated. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. It's one of my favorite gens actually. I just hate how it just didn't get the attention it deserved. I mean, the SpiderNet on her GPU did it for me. That's crazy. Yeah, I burned that. I definitely burned that PC. I would incinerate it. I would definitely incinerate it. It's time for it to go into the burner, especially that you start to see things like that. Almost my current build, I have a 12700K 9060 XT Z 790 chipset, but with DDR5 6000 though. It will. Oh yeah, of course it will. I feel like PCs are, that's a sign of good cooling. That's funny. I guess that's one way to test it. As long as if you get spiders and everything coming in, that's a definitely one way to test it for sure. Wait, I can't keep the case. It has a turbo. Yeah. You know, it's funny. There's PSUs that still feature it. What's up, case? What do you need help with? So, again, like if you're thinking of going back to like 12th gen, it's perfectly fine. Uh, it will certainly last you. They even if you're looking at like B850M boards, you can get them cheap if you want to go AMD. But again, you're looking to go DDR5 if that's what you need. Um, like this. There goes the Eagle, great board. 157C, you can get it on the cheap. B850M Tough Gaming, that's another option. MSI B850M Mortar. I also had a 12700K with a 3070. Never had any issues with 12th gen. There you go. You see? The only issue I had with 12th gen, it wasn't based on the Intel's fault. As I mentioned, it was based on the Z690 because the capacitor was backwards. So ASUS is a great GPU choice when one wants solid cooling solution. They rarely mess that. Yeah, that is true. That is certainly true. Like if you want an option for better cooling when it comes to ASUS GPUs, they're great to go with. Especially one thing I've certainly noticed too with their GPUs, like if you want to take advantage of say like two HDMI ports, they're like one of the fewer ones that do. Many of them will give you more display ports than HDMI ports, but they will have like a balance of display ports and HDMI. 12th gen is good enough to push any GPU to 100%. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Watching the stream on a 12th gen laptop with integrated graphics. Oh, there you go. I don't know about other countries, but you can get Hungary and you can get even 11th gen Intel's brand new. Absolutely. Even ASUS dual GPUs are okay with noise levels usually. Yeah. The only bigger issue I ever faced with ASUS was more so. No, I haven't. Again, no issues. Great when it comes to power. The only complaint I would have is that it would be some of them would be a little louder on the whole Hoyle line. Well, other than that, that was it. It's a great performer, great on cooling, and definitely outperforms a lot of the GPUs on the market. 12th gen is great and does not suffer from degradation like 13th and 14th gen. Yes. Unfortunately, I've seen a lot of that happen. I've been recommending a lot of I've been trying to fix a lot of them. I had a friend that was actually reaching high temperatures on Battlefield 6. He was reaching up to 97 degrees on the 14700K, which was way too hot. But he's going to end up changing. I recommend it obviously to update his BIOS. It didn't really do much. So now he's going to end up changing out his cooler. He's running a 240 millimeter cooler. We're going to switch him out to a 360. Different case, more airflow, and hopefully that will resolve his issue. So I'm glad with Be Quiet stuff. They are true to their name. Absolutely. They are certainly quiet. Just like your build, you have a lot of great Be Quiet hookups on it. I'm on the 14700K, been on it for 3 years. No problems, just update your BIOS and every new build should be okay. Did NVIDIA just get caught trying that? Yeah. Yeah, they don't like it. They don't like when it's spotted on hardware monitor. If you guys notice, hardware monitor or hardware info, it's been coming up. That's pretty funny, and I like that addition. It would be hilarious if they did come out with something like that. New build. Yeah, again, like Intel's great. It truly is. One of the rebuilds I actually did was on a 14700K, pretty much the same platform he's on and same motherboard, and got his PC running really cool. So, yeah, more so, I feel like it has to do with, it definitely has to do when it comes to thermal paste is key, and so is like when it comes to your CPU cooler. So going from 240 to 360 definitely should help them when it comes to cooling. But yeah, it makes me so curious about Micro Center. It makes me want to go there and ask them about this because it's quite insane. I can't believe they have a kit available, but again, for those who are curious about this whole ASUS 20 edition, they do have it available over at Micro Center. They have one in stock, but it says only available for purchase if you get the kit. And they don't even list the pricing. Huh. So that means they're hiding this GPU. And they do have this. Two of these monitors. Very fast refresh rate, but damn. 1200 is definitely a lot for it. And same thing with this. It seems that they have this kit. But as part of the kit, again, when it comes to Newegg, you get the chassis and you also get the power supply. So the power supply we know is like 800. We saw this was like 650. This was all Newegg. Um, say they give this to you for 6,000. I don't know how much the motherboard exactly is. I haven't seen anyone actually list that separately. Oh, and it says the Ryujin 360. So they're missing that actual photo there of the Ryujin 360. So just imagine how expensive this bundle is going to be. So, okay, because we pretty much saw this kit. The cooler, and we saw the motherboard, but I think it was, it was a suitcase it came with. And that alone was like what was it again? I have to look at the price again. It was expensive. The 9070 RX Acer Nitro was great. Then I got the 9070 XT Acer Nitro. Cheaped out. Didn't get that. The Predator, that was not a bad choice, but not the end of the world. Yeah, the biggest thing is that you still have a great performer. It still performs on a great GPU. You're still on RDNA 4. You have FSR 4.1, which is also way underrated for what it should be. Um, because automatically, a lot of people think when they hear FSR, they automatically assume it's going to look blurry, like it's straight blurry mess. And because of that, they end up just like not touching AMD and they think it's just crap. But um, it's definitely improved so much since then. And I tell everybody that is trying to upgrade their GPU, especially even from the 30 series of RTX, or if you're upgrading an AMD GPU and upgrading from something like you held like say RX like 580 for so long, I highly suggest going with the 9070 XT. It's a great choice, especially when you are coming from something like that. The ray tracing has improved a lot when it came to the RX 9070 XCs, and so has the let's see, ray tracing is improved. Pad tracing, of course, could be a bit better. The raw rasterization is really good when it comes to the 9070 XT as well. But yeah, highly recommend it. Definitely highly recommend it. Let me see. But yeah, this kit's going to be expensive. More than likely for this whole kit, if you're to purchase it, it's going to cost at least like close to $10,000 at the minimum. So I miss NVIDIA because of the NVIDIA experience. That NVIDIA tuned game settings. Not much to talk about that, but my favorite feature. Yeah, I certainly do like Shadow Play. Shadow Play is a lot better compared to AMD's system, like when it comes to recording gameplay. Um, I do agree with you there. I agree Shadow Play works excellent. I wish that they improved more on the NVIDIA app, though. Um, their updates have been pretty solid for the most part. It took a little while for them to straighten out a lot of their updates when it came to the 50 series because it took them, I'd say, like from January all the way till June. Like not even June, like I'd say July, and the updates were still finicky. It was finicky for a while. And then eventually they ironed them out, and then it started to feel much better then. Because it would cause weird issues, like it would end up like crashing certain games, like Monster Hunter's Wilds was one of them. Just to think right off the top of my head. But you know what's crazy too? They got rid of the whole benchmark from Monster Hunter's Wilds because they said that it was based on the whole old system of their RE engine, and that it's changed dramatically since then. So they don't even have that benchmark anymore. But yeah, just bring it back, Capcom. I like using the benchmark. Obviously, I know it's not what they used to use or what they're using today when it comes to Monster Hunter's Wilds, but it was great to measure out hardware. So I usually start with disabling ray tracing, motion blur, film grain, and chromatic aberration. Interesting. All great choices. Many people disable motion blur. Film grain's another one. That's a very common one. Um, and disabling ray tracing can definitely get you more. And there's certain games that actually look a bit better when you disable ray tracing, such as you ever notice pragmatic, like when you have a path tracing on compared to when it's not on at all. It looks dramatically better for some reason. In my personal opinion, it looks better without the ray tracing. But it all depends on the types of titles that you play. I know some people don't like it because it looked much more darker. Let me see if I can actually pull it up. I actually have it here. Let me look up pragmatic because if I look it up here, let's see, pragmatic. Oop. Maybe I'm spelling it wrong. I'll find it. I'll just look it up real quick. Pragmatic. Ray tracing versus not ray tracing. So this is how it looks. Here we go. I'm gonna get a really good one. Let me see. Just trying to find a good comparison. Okay. So, not this one. There's a much more clear one. Actually, I'll just go to images, and then we could find it there. It's a one very specific scene. Here we go. Okay, so this is a better. Okay, so right here you see path tracing. Let me just move this up some so you guys can see this a bit better here. So when you look at the scene, here is how it looks. Path tracing is on the left, right? With ray tracing. So ray tracing is on the right. See how different it looks? And there's one that's even more dramatic than that. Where is it? Man, they're kind of hiding that one. There's one that actually looks better without even ray tracing at all. But so, Something that never gets talked about much is memory controllers on the CPU and how important they are, and a controller can go bad. Oh yeah, of course. That could also happen, but and that's like a very um, fortunately, that's a very rare thing to actually happen. So most of the time, when that does happen, again, it's a very rare case like to run into memory controllers that go bad. Typically, a lot of the memory controllers run really well. But speaking of which, it makes me think about the whole Nova Lake. I know some of you guys are probably excited for that. Personally, I'm excited for it. I'm curious to see what Intel certainly has to bring. Especially if they're going to run with, they still are going to run on physical cores, and they're going to be based on like so far from what it seems like 28 cores, and I can't wait to see what they will offer within the next year. Fortunately, it's not going to come out as soon as October because they had the Arrow Lake refresh. But Nova Lake is definitely planned to come out on desktops first, as they will have the Nova Lake Type S planned event, like especially coming up in the whole CS when it comes up. So when you switch on path tracing in Cyberpunk, it becomes very clear how nice that is, I think. I only tried it early with the early 6800 RX, might have to try it again. Yeah, path tracing, I gotta say, when Cyberpunk looks wonderful. That's a big difference. That looks really good. Let me see this. Here we go. Here goes a good example. This is like one of them. So this is off. This is with ray tracing on. And then the other one is with path tracing. So you see what I mean? So one's with path tracing, one's with ray tracing, and one is off. And this is specifically based on reflections here. And they also have another one here. Man, I wish I could find that. There's a very specific one that I want to show you guys that came from Pragmatic. I was always impressed with Intel's memory controllers. I think they are better than AMD's. I feel like that at certain times it certainly is a bit better, like when it comes to the whole timing, because training the memory was always a big common denominator when it comes to AMD. Um, People automatically assume that it seems like the PC is not loading up right away because of the memory, but Intel does do phenomenal work when it comes to memory. I do agree. Um, but yeah, that's the biggest thing between that. And actually, let's touch bases on the whole Intel side here because I do want to bring it up. We're gonna go video cards here. Oh yeah. Speaking of which, I completely forgot about this blackout. How well did that work? Did it work? Did it work at all? Because I completely forgot about this. I think this is hilarious because I didn't even think about this at all. Let me see. Let's see. So far, nothing has happened. Okay, so now they're saying for several years, Sony Interactive has continued to grow apart from its fan base, whether it's closed. Okay, we get that. Let's get to the blackout part. So with that, we are calling PlayStation players to participate in economic and gameplay blackout from Sunday, August 23rd at 7 p.m. through Sunday. Oh, so they pushed it to next week. I thought it was this past week. Fortnite highest settings already looks like a Pixar movie. I only need realism in racing games. I think a lot of people would certainly agree with you there. I feel like single player games are more important, more than anything, to actually have like the actual realism into it. Um, Let me see. And also, where is it? Nova Lake. So they do have graphics based on here. So Nova Lake HX. That actually sounds like a laptop. And the Nova Lake S and Nova Lake U, which is probably Ultra, I would assume. So removing probing the changing covers Iris OpenGL. So this is practically just saying that the Linux 7.3 also has Nova Lake graphics by default. So that's a good indication. It sounds like they're pretty much ready to unveil sometime soon. But oh, Linux has its own NVIDIA shadow plate. That's good too. But let me see. I want to share more news with you guys on Nova Lake here. So let me go back here. So sent the black flag green sync ray tracing example in my Discord for some reason. My screenshot's still. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, let's do it. We'll take a look at your examples too. But I want to bring up Nova Lake here, which is right here. So it's based on, as mentioned, the 28 cores, performance cores, which are going to be 8, and the efficiency cores are at 16, and of course the LPE cores, of course, they have the BLLC, which is certainly going to be an exciting feat for Intel. That's supposed to be the competitor of X3D processors. Expecting 125 watts. So this, I feel like this is going to be pretty close to something like a 9950 X3D, I would say, from what it sounds like. Where it's going to be even, obviously even better, because it could hit up to 296 on PL2, which is insane. That's a lot of power on a processor. That's pretty much almost like nearing a high-end desktop at that point. But of course, on the low side, it's going to usually run on 125 watts. But it gives you the capability of heating up the processor if necessary. As you know, like when it comes to AMD, what typically happens, especially on the 99, not the 9950 X3D, but on the 9800 or the 9850 X3D, it can even burn up. So, heard an article, customer sends an ASUS ROG Strix 850 watt PSU for RMA. It trips his house when he tests. Oh, really? That's pretty insane. I assume it's going to be expensive. It could be. It could be. It just depends. People are still worried about the E cores. I had 13600K cores. And I had a 13600K, and the 14700K F1s didn't run into any issues with modern games. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, and that's what I've been telling people about the 14700K. Some people ran into issues from when I spoke to them. Some people haven't. But you can definitely keep it cool as long as if you get the right cooling on there perfectly well. Now, going back here, I want to share the Discord that our wonderful friend Genomorph has sent us. Right here. Okay. So I'm going to switch over to Discord real quick. And here you go. You go from RTX off, right? RTX on. So, and RTX on extended, which is practically like patch racing. I'll shrink it down so you guys can see the whole frame, because I know it's probably hard to see like that. There you go. I know my face is probably in the way too. There you go. I'll hide myself real quick so you guys can get a better look at that. No, it's okay. It's all good, Zeno. But take a look at that. So what do you think? RTX off, RTX on, and then with patch tracing. And sometimes it feels like it's not truly worth the significant difference. I don't know, without ray tracing, it's more sharp with me. Yeah, it could be. I think the purpose of it, I will say this, I think the whole purpose of that is because it's to be almost like, just like how it is on the Woodard. It's supposed to be more hazy. I think that's what it's supposed to be. But still. But again, not a significant difference enough to have the whole patch tracing turn on at, especially in a screenshot like this. But But yeah, going back to Discord here. I mean, not Discord. Going back to the browsing side. I think Intel Nova Lake will certainly be a great competitor. I'm really curious to see if it's going to compete well with AMD. I think we could all use more competition, especially now, because as you know, when it comes to pricing, everything's just expensive. On a 4K stream, we might see more of a difference on our side of things. Yeah. Um, it would be pretty nice to be able to stream in 4K, but I think as of now we have our limitations of it now, especially when it comes to internet. So Zai says back then RTX like was faked, but nowadays you can't make a game and fake high-end effects and then also provide actual RTX path tracing based on the fake setup. Agreed. I agree. And I think that's just a horrific way of doing it. Um, but I think that was like one of their larger selling points. And I remember when ray tracing first came out, that it was supposed to be like like a true game changer. But of course, it ran into its issues, and you would be told things like, "Oh, like if you're playing a first-person shooter and you can see the reflection of somebody in the glass, that gives you the advantage." But in reality, you haven't really seen too much advantages, especially when it comes to something like esports. It's still very hard to do, I think. I think it's not to that point. Eventually, it'll get to the point where it's a bit more like realistic to where you can see something like that. But of course, um, there's a lot that goes into that too. It can be based on maps and different obstacles. So again, I know the pricing is a bit expensive. It's adjusted quite a bit. I mean, the lowest RTX 5070 we see here is gigabytes when for short form factor, which is the 12 gigabyte version. And it is, or the big hype NVIDIA physics. Yeah, they pretty much even like shut that down almost. When it came to even if you had a card that was a 50 series, they almost shut it down completely. So all the PS5 Wolverine's limited edition controller, it looks sick. Are you gonna get it, AV? Uh, but yeah, this is probably one of the cheaper ones. Short form factor again, GPU. Maybe some would love to take advantage of something like this. Again, that's only 12 gigabytes. Definitely a lot more than what it was. And what else we got? And of course, the bundles. And now the bundles, again, we spoke about the whole DDR4 side. Fortunately, some of the DDR4 bundles are actually a bit, not that much of a difference, to be honest. Because they're all 16 gigabytes, and you compare it to the 16 gigabytes of AM5, it's not that far different. It's only really a $50 difference to go AM5 and you have DDR5. So that's what I mean when it comes to RAM. It's not going to be that much more expensive if you just go ahead and go DDR5. Even though they say, oh, DDR4 is so much cheaper, but honestly, it's not that much cheaper. I think the reason for that is because they're not really using it nearly as much. And even a 9800 X3D bundle they have here is 15, not 15, $1,150. So Steam wants me to pre-order Silent Hill Townfall. I won't pre-order anymore. They need to optimize the game. Of course they do. That's what they want you. Have you guys played Onimusha? Because that's been actually really good. They have the demo out. So if you guys want to play it, definitely give it a shot. It's been really good. And of course, they have the beta when it comes to Modern Warfare 4. And then some things I saw, I'm like, man, that is some extra cheese there. Like, especially when it comes to being able to smoke a cigar and also being able to uh, and being able to shoot at the same time, which I feel is personally ridiculous. But yeah, again, pricing unfortunately is definitely much more expensive. Uh, we'll attempt to try to get this Threadripper build done. Hopefully we can. If we manage to do it, I will definitely let you guys know for sure. So fam guys, I thank you everybody who has come in to the wonderful live. I thank you Steve, thank you Havy, thank you Zai. Also gotta thank Genomorph. And I gotta thank, of course, Steve. I gotta thank Any Ellis. I gotta thank Hidden Bull, CS Guac, and I also gotta thank Hamburger Case Eclipse. And of course, I gotta thank um, Real Tech Geek as well as being part of the chats. Z-Man, of course, thank you so much for coming in as well. I can't, the 6900 XT Red Double, for that's pretty good actually. But yeah, thank you, Real Tech Geek. I appreciate you. Make sure everybody have a great weekend. I'll work on trying to get this, get these videos out. Got a lot of videos to work on. Definitely exhausted, but looking forward to catching you guys soon. If we do a gaming stream, I'll let you know. If we do a gaming stream, it's going to be based on Twitch. I haven't done it yet, so you guys haven't missed anything yet. That what's up, Tony? Thank you for also stopping in real quick. And make sure to eat something good. Man, I'm pretty hungry. Definitely gonna eat something good. So fam guys, hopefully you guys have a awesome weekend. And if anything comes up, if I'm able to come in and stream for any gaming streams, I'll definitely let you guys know. That's all right, Tony. Don't worry. No worries. Thank you for I just missed it. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you guys. Yes. Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely. Catch you guys soon and looking forward to seeing you next time.